Leads us to my topic today, which is Pathway to Power. So, each of us has our unique journey to walk during this human experience. And while each pathway is unique, there's a common urge within all of us to transcend the mundane so that we might experience higher levels of being, higher levels of thinking, and higher levels of behaving in this human experience. I think this urge in each of us is to reach for these transcendent ways of living, and it's fueled by an underlying urge, a deeper desire to experience our oneness with the divine. Remember, I spoke of our oneness, how we are one with God. Or said in another way, to live the spiritual truth that we are. The concept of cause and effect is fundamental, if you're familiar at all with the teachings of science of mind or religious science. And during the month of March, which I'm having a hard time believing it's March already, but during this month, we're going to reflect each week upon a state of consciousness that can be the invisible cause to bring about the visible effect we desire for ourselves and for our world. Because remember, everything that you see here is an effect, and it all began with a thought or an idea in the invisible. So it goes from the inner to the outer, as within, so without. So it's important that we remember that life does not happen to us, but it happens through us. So, that we're on the same page here, what do I mean by the state of consciousness? I believe that consciousness is a combination of our thoughts, feelings, beliefs, known and unknown, attitudes, known and unknown, values, known and unknown, and actions. And the 5 states of consciousness that we're going to explore this month are power, surrender, feeling, blessing, and trusting. But today we're going to look at the pathway to power.
Excuse me.
So as I was thinking,
Can I
yes,
interrupt you?
yes you can.
Please. Can you please tell me the 5?
Oh, that we're going to be going power,
Yes.
surrender, feeling, blessing, and trusting.
Okay.
So each Sunday this month, we're going to be talking about one of those.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, that's fine. You're always welcome. If you have a question, just let me know. Okay, so today we're talking about the pathway to power. And as I was thinking about what does power mean? What is the meaning of power? There's really a lot that's wrapped up in those 5 little letters. I started to think about all the ways in the English language that we use the word power. Here's just a few. Okay, we have solar power, horsepower, political power, flower power, battery power, girl power, nuclear power, black power, absolute power, willpower, star power, power hour, or power up, hour power. If you ever watched Dr. Schuller. Power line, power hitter, power bar, read those. Power tool, power train, power point, make a lot of those. Power up, power down, power outage. Don't like those either. Power play, power wash. Power to the people, power versus force. Power of now, power in the blood, power to spare, power of one, power of positive thinking, power ball, you like that one. And of course, there is a power for good in this universe and you can use it. Who said that? Anybody remember? Oh yeah, okay. So, that's a whole mouthful of power. It's everywhere. And that last statement, there's a power for good in the universe and you can use it, was coined by Ernest Holmes, and that is going to be our focus for today. So we can use this power for good in the universe because, where is it? It's right inside us. It never leaves us. It's always there. It is our internal power. Our pathway of power is not an external walk, but an inside job. We simply must walk the pathway to access it. And in today's volatile world of outward experiences, connecting with our internal power is imperative if we are to weather the storms of human existence. Remember, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. Let's explore how. We have a fabulous teaching about the use of internal power in Matthew 8:23 to 8:27, where we learn the miracle of calming the sea. I really suspect that you've all become familiar with this already, if you've had any Bible teachings. But here's a little refresher. Jesus had spent the day preaching and teaching and healing. And when he was through, he and his disciples got in a boat to travel to their next gig, right? Jesus was pretty tired. So,
Next gig.
well, you know, he had a schedule. He had his roadies. He had to go, right? So Jesus was pretty tired, and he fell asleep right away. Anybody know any men who do that? Okay. So he was tired, and suddenly a violent storm erupted, and the sea became very rough. So rough, in fact, that the boat was being tossed about and flooded by the waves. His disciples got scared and woke Jesus up, saying, "Our Lord, save us, we are perishing." And Jesus said to them, "Why are you fearful, O ye of little faith?" Then he got up and rebuked the wind and the sea, and there was a great calm. But the men were astonished, saying, "Who is this man, that even the winds and the sea obey him?" Who was this man? He was the man who transcended conditions by living at a higher level of being, thinking, and obviously behaving. He was a man who lived in constant connection and communion with his internal source of power. He was a man who knew how to use his power for good. I want to look at the three important elements of this miracle of calming the storming seas and see how they are our teaching moments for all of us in our pathway to power. So the first one was Jesus was asleep. The second one was, "O you of little faith." And the third was Jesus rebuked the winds. So, first, Jesus was asleep. Often being asleep is a metaphor for being unconscious or unaware in an unhealthy way. But I don't believe that that would be an accurate interpretation here. Instead, this interpretation should be that of one who is serene, at peace, allowing, unafraid, and even detached. In other words, he's not uptight. He's not worried about it. He's not nervous. He's not controlling. He's not afraid. What's important here is not that Jesus fell asleep, but that he stayed asleep as the storm raged on. He slept like a baby. He didn't have to worry, right? Who knows? He may well have had slept through the whole thing had the disciples not awakened him. So in other words, he was not going to be bothered by what was going on in the outside world. If we replace the word asleep with the words I used a moment ago, we would get Jesus stayed serene, at peace, allowing, unafraid, and detached as the storm raged on. Serene, at peace, allowing, unafraid, and detached. These are carefully selected words. These are power words. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that in a moment. And I have handouts that Rich will hand out as well. But first, the next important element of this miracle. Number 2, O you of little faith. His disciples got scared and woke Jesus up saying, "O Lord, save us, we are perishing." Jesus said to them, "Why are you fearful, O you of little faith?" This must have been one of Jesus' favorite statements because he used it more than once, if you remember. He used it in the wonderful passage when he said, "Since God so brilliantly adorns the lilies of the field, which today are here and tomorrow are thrown on the fire, why would he not do more for you, O you of little faith?" There was a minister, our religious science minister, David Owen, who interprets it as, "Oh, you knuckleheads," but I get an image of a gentle Jesus, not an irritated Jesus. I want to go with more gentle, saying this to his disciples on the boat, realizing that they haven't quite gotten it yet. Or maybe they got it and forgot, which happens to me sometimes. I get it, and everything's going great, and then it's not. And then somebody has to go, usually one of my kids, "Mom, what are you saying? Did you hear yourself?" "Oh, yeah." All right, so I love it when they get it, and when they remind me. So they just don't understand that they can trust, that they can believe, that they can remain steadfast in knowing, regardless of appearance, that there is the very essence of life in, around, and through them, and all they need to do to be safe is to put their faith in it. Gentle, trusting, believing, steadfast. These are more power words. Number 3, he rebuked the winds. Jesus knew that he had immediate access to power and that he could use it. In religious science terminology, we would say he spoke his word and he activated the law. The mother of New Thought, Emma Curtis Hopkins, wrote in her classic book, Scientific Christian Mental Practice, we have unlimited power. If we do not use that power, it does not alter the fact that it is our inheritance. It's kind of like the person who inherits a bunch of money or has a bunch of money and puts it all in their mattress and eats hot dogs. And when they die, you wonder why they didn't use that power. Why didn't they use, what? We have the power, but we choose whether or not we want to use it. On page 125 of The Science of Mind, we are dealing with the same power that molds the planets, and all of that is upon them, and the limit of our ability to use this power is not in principle, but in our understanding of it. We don't have to wait for God to come to us. We've got to go to God. Jesus understood this power, and he used it. And he used it with confidence, with courage, on purpose, and unselfishly. And these are, as you guessed, more power words. And they're all written down, so you'll get them. So I've used some specific words this morning, and I've selected them intentionally, and I have said they are power words. But what do I mean by that? What do I mean by power words? First, let me say them again. Confidence, courage, purpose, unselfish, gentle, trusting, believing, steadfast, serene, at peace, allowing, unafraid, detached. Is anybody familiar with David Hawkins' book, Power versus Force? If you are, great. If not, I'm going to give you a little explanation here. In it, he uses kinesiology to calibrate attitudes based on a numeric scale. Anything calibrating over 200 is considered to be tapping into power. Under 200 is tapping into force. So power versus force. Every word I chose to use this morning, which Jesus so beautifully taught in the experience of calming the troubled seas and the sky, calibrate to a vibration of over 200. In Power versus Force, Hawkins has 2 pages a 2-page listing of attitude pairings, one of which calibrates over 200 and one doesn't. Hawkins suggests that just by reading over the list, by merely becoming acquainted with the differences between these poles, we can begin to increase our inner power. He writes, with these distinctions in mind, we'll start to notice things we never observed before. Such revelations occur because the universe favors power. So here are the pairings for the words I've used this morning. You have peaceful, you have belligerent, you have serene, you have dull, you have allowing, you have controlling, detached, removed, confident, arrogant, courageous, reckless, purposeful, desirous, unselfish, selfish, gentle, rough, trusting, gullible, believing, insisting, steadfast, faltering. We each have access to great power. And as I said, you will get this list. And as we begin to live from our own power, we absolutely can change the world. And that is the whole Centers for Spiritual Living is a world that works for everyone. And how do we get there? How do we get from a world that's not working so great for everyone to a world that works for everyone? We all play a part in it because each time we think, each time we act, we are a ripple effect and we make a change, and that helps the world. So, according to Hawkins, one individual at level 300 counterbalances 90,000 individuals below 200. Yeah, I don't know if this is true or not, but if it is, great. This is amazing. One individual at level 400 counterbalances 400,000 individuals below level 200. One individual at a level 500 counterbalances 750,000 individuals below 200. So when we're in this, we're helping to bring the evolution of thought and consciousness in our world up. Our Our thoughts make a difference. Our consciousness makes a difference. So this morning, and I think we can see this. We can see how there has been quite an evolution that has sped up, and it is speeding up. We have seen changes in our world over the past several centuries that have just been quite incredible. So this morning, let's amp up our conscious use of the power that we already are. We're going to do a little visualization here. So join me, if you will, by imagining yourself floating on a pond. It's a pond as big as the ocean. It has everything in it that is possible to know or feel or think or see. The whole world is in it. It is a safe and beautiful pond. Slowly, let yourself sink down in the pond. Breathing underwater is not a problem, so you needn't worry about that. Slowly, slowly sink to the bottom. It is a lovely sandy bottom. There are plants and fish and shells and rocks. Just sit there and enjoy it. It's beautiful. Then look up and see the surface far above you. It shimmers like a jewel in the sunlight. Begin to watch all the things that are floating. They're floating by you on the surface. Your thoughts, pictures of things, even people's faces. Just let it all drift by. Be at peace. Even as you notice a storm raging on the surface, something you are questioning or worrying about, conditions in your life right now that seem scary, there is only deep peace here. Here, at this place, you realize that it is just a surface storm, and that in this deep place of calm, it cannot touch you. In this meditative state, invite forth a word that will be your word of power. When you are feeling disconnected to the power of the universe, which is your power, say this word. I'm going to share with you some of the words that Hawkins says calibrate above 200. Let them wash over you. Be with each one. If one jumps out at you, perhaps it will become your power word. Abundance, accepting, agreeable, appreciative, aware, balanced, believing, brilliant, carefree, cheerful, charitable, confident, considerate, detached, devoted, diplomatic, empathetic, energetic, enlivening, eternal, flexible, fair, free, generous, global, gracious, harmonious, honoring, inspired, ingenious, joyful, kind, loving, merciful, natural, nurturing, open, optimistic, patient, peaceful, praising, principled, purposeful, receiving, respectful, responsible, serene, spiritual, surrendering, tender, timeless, trusting, unifying, valuing. If you recognized your power word, say it softly aloud now, and then breathe it in and breathe it out. It is your word of power. And at any moment, from this moment on, it will open your pathway to your power, to the power of the One, the power of God. When you are ready, come back and know that you are one with the power of good in this universe, and that you can use it each and every moment of each and every day. And so it is.